afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 11 of
Oh,
2024. It's fantasy football.
harsh reality.
Oh boy, what a week. We got a lot going on. Takes so long to get here and goes so fast.
So fun how many trades we're doing.
Yeah.
In both the leagues that we share.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I've made some stupid pick swaps, but I mean, when you're in last place, you might as well try and garner picks for next year. And when you're in contention, you might as well give up one or two to try and win it. So
absolutely,
what the hell? Let's go for it. I've always, unfortunately, for better or worse, I've always been a live for today kind of a guy. Like I'm always in win now mode. I'm definitely not a great let's prepare, I'm not that great at it.
Well, I mean, sometimes your hand is forced. Nick had a fire sale.
Yeah.
Because he realized
it also makes you wonder, should that be allowed? I mean, to just sell off all your good players for the next year's picks. And I mean, his team's probably going to be unbeatable next season because he's going to have so many top 5-round picks.
Well, he is still Nick, so
that's true. He'll find a way to fuck it up.
He'll blow it. Yeah. He'll so stupid.
I love that. That's what we're counting on now. For Nick just to nick it up.
He'll nick it up. Yeah. Anyways,
here's hoping he doesn't watch this episode.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here? We got a lot.
Well, should we talk about what we nailed? Because there was a ton there. We nailed
quite a bit. I know for me, the big ones were out of the gate, and I said it. Burrow and Chase would be number one against Baltimore, and it was a Thursday night game. I was going out on a limb on a third. I mean, you realize if you're wrong about that, you're wrong all week.
True.
But I'm watching. I'm like, there's no one that can beat him. I mean, 40 points, 60 points. I was like, I nailed it. I, of course, failed on the Gesicki. I went for the Triple Crown, and they did spread it around amongst the tight ends. It wasn't Gesicki.
Well, that Hudson kid got it.
Yeah, Hudson ended up getting the touchdown, and so that ended up failing that one. But I nailed both of those right out the gate, and I felt great.
Absolutely. Yes, and you should. Did you have any other nails? I mean, I've got a list to run through.
Just a couple more. I mean, I did say Pittsburgh was going to upset Washington. I said, don't be surprised. And sure enough, they went out.
That's what I said as well.
And the other one that my lock of the week was the Bengals plus 5.5. And they almost won the damn game and then blew it at the end, but they only lost by 1 point. So you can't be mad.
I think that's really the big one is, our locks
we
nailed them
every time.
We nailed them.
Yes.
And that's the one that people make money on. And I even nailed both dice rolls. As long as we're on that subject, I said take Pittsburgh plus 3.5. They won by 1. And I said take New England plus 6.5, and they won 19-3.
Yeah.
So those were just dice rolls.
Being my birthday weekend, I was in Las Vegas having a great time, doing a lot of things I'm not supposed to. But I was, I'm gambling. On Sunday, I got up early and I basically just stayed awake and just kept going. And I got in there, and I immediately, I was like, I think Pittsburgh's going to win. I bet a money line. And it paid out real nice. So that was
money line. I bet you that was pretty good. What?
It was
120, 130?
I want something like that. At least it was more. I want to say it was more.
Oh, that's
awesome.
It
was maybe 135. It was really good. It was
better.
Yeah, it was. So I think I won like 6 out of 8 bets. I landed 6 out of 8. So it was a great gambling day for me on Sunday.
But what did you win? Like $3?
$30.
Hey, you really have up there. I like this. I like this new side. It's going to get better and better, and or worse.
A lot of 5s and 10s, doubled, and a lot of them just doubled the money. And so,
that $5 that you got from me went to a good cause.
I probably did. Yes,
you rolled it in and made it into $30. So good on you, buddy.
30 that I turned $30 into $60. So it was good. Yeah. For me, that's a big day.
That is a big day. Well, I nailed Brock Purdy. I said, you must start Purdy, 353 and 2, over 30 points. I said, you must start Mark Andrews, 15.8 points. And when it comes to the tight ends, that's like, you know, a windfall. I said that this is the week that Derrick Henry finishes outside the top 10 in running backs. And he did. He got 13.6 points. I said, don't be surprised if Pitt beats Washington. I think you just took credit for it, but that was me. Anyway, we can go back, watch the tape. It's got that one right. I also said, don't be surprised if Jaden Daniels finishes outside the top 12. Guy had less than 10 fantasy points. Said, beware of Joe Mixon. And although his fantasy score was okay, he had 16 points, but he rushed 25 times for 46 yards. And last but not least, I said, take a flyer on Pearsall. It was the one time that I said to do it. He finished with 19.3 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So we did pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. And I don't go back through all the must starts and everything. I probably should do more of that, but I don't. I just kind of do the big ones, the big calls.
The victory laps are fun.
Yeah. I could tell you, apparently you love yours. You love all of you doing all of them.
All the ones that I nail. I love nailing.
Your fails. Where are your fails?
Oh my God. I said, you must sit Kyler Murray. Versus the Jets, he got over 30 points. I think he like looked he looked like a world beater.
This is so important to go over the fails.
Yeah, it is, because you know we don't get everything right.
We don't. No, nobody does.
And I said, oh, you must start Breece Hall versus Arizona. He's gonna go off. He barely got over 10 points.
He'll be coming up again very soon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, what are we gonna do? And I said, you must start Gesicki, 7 points.
Yeah.
7 points. And then my epic fail, and I knew this is an epic fail, as I said, oh, beware of Jamar Chase. I said, oh, I'm going to get this right.
We had the argument about that because I had him as the number one.
Set a record. It was the best thing anyone's ever done in fantasy ever. Set an epic fail. Beware, because there's not enough points. It doesn't go high enough.
I don't know. I got him and you almost convinced me of it. I was like, I think he's the number one.
Yeah.
And you almost convinced me of it too. My fails, I said the Giants defense would be number one versus Carolina. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the Giants are the number one biggest dipshits.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
Sort of right.
They managed to not only not be the number one defense, but lose and give Carolina their second win in a row, third overall. Good on you, Giants. You're the only team making Dallas look not so bad in the NFC East. I did say the Bengals would defeat the Ravens. And I was this close to being right about it. I know. I'm telling you, I'm sitting there going, I fucking said it. I said it. They would win it. I knew it. I knew that they're playing each other so hard. It's coming so close. And then the last second, the Bengals managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory like no other team.
Amazing.
I said to start Swift versus New England, and we saw that the OC got fired. And then I said to stick with Brian Thomas Jr. I was excited about the Mac Jones opportunity versus Minnesota, and unfortunately,
Mac Jones. That's the Mac Jones.
No, I still kind of believe in Mac Jones. It was his first weekend versus Minnesota, and Minnesota didn't look great. I mean, it was like 12-9 or something.
Well,
like that.
It was 12-7. That we both failed. That we said start all your Vikings.
Oh yes.
Turns out start none of them.
That's on them though. And again, it kind of got for me more than the Mac Jones thing. It goes back to the Sam Darnold still being Sam Darnold at the end of the day. But BTJ, I really thought he would still maintain value. I thought they would have to, but that was the thing. They didn't ever get into a foot race where they had to throw it a lot. It just remained this kind of weird fucking stalemate. I fucking hated that game.
I mean, weren't there like a ton of goal line interceptions?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it was just not. It was a stalemate. It was weird.
It was
nothing was happening. I was like, what is this? Is Minnesota go backup quarterback? Jags. Yeah. What are you doing? Win this go nuts. Jags guy. Oh my God.
It was bad. It was weird.
Yeah, so those were my big fails.
Yep. Well, should we go through some headlines, my friend?
Yes,
there's some news to be spoken.
Some important news. We already touched on a bit of it. I think the OC being out in Chicago is a bit of shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic for the season. I don't know. I mean, although I will say this. If they do simplify that offense, they could save their season. Because he really was. I watched the tape too, and he was asking him to read the defense, and he just couldn't read it very fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it took. I mean, we read it. I mean, I could never read it. For a normal human, it was very fast. But for the NFL, it takes years of experience to read all the way across the field.
Yeah, unless your name is Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud, yes.
Well, I think but I think their play calling is a little bit different. It's a little simpler. It's a little, they have a stronger run game that they're leaning on a lot more than they are in Chicago. They're not leaning on the run game. They're asking him to read the defense and instead, and I got to give Dan Orlovsky credit for this. That guy, him diagnosing it, he was showing you. It's like, no, you give him one read or throw it away. That's it. One read, throw it away. That's your guy. Not open, throw it away. Don't sit there and ask him to
check down.
Right. That's it. Exactly. But get rid of it. Don't take negative plays. So because he's just holding the ball and taking so many sacks.
Run.
Did he get sacked 8? Did he get sacked like 8 times?
I think it was at least 8. I think it
may have been 9. Keenan Allen comes out today and he says that the guy Shane Waldron was just too loose with the dudes. He didn't hold them accountable. He didn't punish them. He wasn't proactive in disciplining them when they didn't, play with accountability. And apparently that played a big part in it too.
Interesting that Keenan Allen would bring that out to the public. I didn't hear that. That usually that's like the kind of thing that you're supposed to keep in the locker room.
Especially after the guy just got let loose.
Right. But that's why he felt free to say it.
But in the age of podcasting, they get these things out there one way or the other.
They find a way to get the info.
So, I mean, it could be good. I don't expect it to be. And we have another.
Do you think they'll get that bump this week?
I don't, because it's not a head coaching change. It's an OC change. Although
not yet. It will be a head coaching change.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the season. So for now, because I was thinking about that too, the new coach bump. Right. Sometimes that changes everything else. And it may, if he relies on the run game, does those simple things that everyone's been calling, well, then maybe. Yeah, maybe. But I'm not. It isn't the same as
you're not making that call.
When the head coach leaves and the whole team is like, whoa, rejoices, and that's the best game of their lives. I think this is a little different where it's still that same guy up there. I'm not so sure they get the bump.
Well, do you think, there's going right to the next headline. I don't know if you heard this one. It's not like official, but it's basically official. Like the Daniel Jones is done for the year, right? They're not going to let him play another snap because if he gets injured, they got to pay him
like $26 million.
A ridiculous amount. Yeah. They gave him so much money anyway, which made no sense. They paid him all this money, after he proved.
Wasn't it a 7-9 season, or was it a 9-7?
It was 9. Maybe it was 9-7 because
or 9-8, something like that.
9-8 because they were like, oh my God, Dayball's the coach of the year.
And right.
Give all this money away, and they won by like 2-3 points on so many of these. There were toss-up games. It wasn't like it was amazing coaching. And I think Dayball's probably a pretty good coach, but did he deserve to win Coach of the Year? I don't think so. Well, I think they went from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Had a mediocre season. It wasn't like he had a great. It was a good season in comparison to his other seasons.
Exactly.
But in comparison to the NFL,
to the league,
you put him on a proven contract. You don't hand him $160 million and then send Saquon Barkley packing. Won't give him 12. You won't give him 12. You give that jackass 160. Oh, I'll tell you what. There's some undertones to that statement right there. We won't get into here.
Some mismanagement. But so he's going to be done for the year.
I don't know if that's happening. I don't know if I buy that just yet.
Well, you'll see. It's going to be Drew Lock moving forward.
Okay, well, listen, he's not playing this week, so it's not like we could test that this week. So it's not like
You're
it's
right.
a news story.
Okay, so how about Desmond Ridder? You know, he's now the starting quarterback for Vegas.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not see that.
Desmond Ridder is now the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, it makes a lot of my picks that I made then that much better.
Yeah.
Because I went with a lot of them versus Las Vegas. Yeah. Pretty much all of it versus Las Vegas. It's Miami, basically. So
their defense looked really good.
Dude, their defense looks shocking.
Like wild.
But Miami does this. They always have that weird midseason stretch where like this defense is unbelievable, and then they suck again down the stretch. So
yeah,
I don't have a lot of faith in them just yet because we've seen this movie before.
Yeah, you got the rest. You got some more fun news.
Yeah, Richardson coming back.
That's a big one. What do you think of that? After they had announced that Flacco would start the rest of the season, they gave him 2 games. They're hoping for what? The Bryce Young effect?
I think they were hoping for the Flacco Cleveland Browns effect.
Well, of course they were, but I'm saying now to put him back in.
Right. And now,
are they hoping for Bryce Young effect?
Right, because absolutely. The only difference is I don't think 2 weeks is what did he learn? Talk about shuffling chairs on the Titanic.
I don't know.
This is the definition of it. Like, it really is like they punished him like a child.
Yeah.
They put him in timeout.
Yep.
Go sit down. Go sit down. No. Go sit down. And then he sits there for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm going to really focus and I'm going to really do the right things and everything. Are you?
I swear. I promise.
Are you? Because I feel like 2 weeks isn't enough to relearn how to be a quarterback in the NFL.
My follow-up question wouldn't be, are you? It would be, okay, and what are the right things? Do you know? Do you know what they are? Because I haven't seen you show me that you even know what they are.
Yeah. And so I don't expect anything different out of them going forward.
Well, there is something good that will come of this, and that
Alec Pierce?
Well, actually, okay, 2 things. Alec Pierce you're absolutely right. The moon ball to Alec Pierce
is back in play, baby. Put him in DFS. Light it up. Yes, absolutely. Cheap, and you know he's getting a moon ball.
That's a very good point. I didn't think of that one. I should have. But Jonathan Taylor, this is better for him big time. All the JTT guys, Jonathan Taylor touchdowns. Anyway, trying to make it happen like fetch. But he, when there was no threat of Joe Flacco running.
No, absolutely.
So they would just stack the box and say, all right, well, let's see what you got, old man. And
what do you think the chances are Richardson gets injured and knocked out again and we end up seeing Flacco again before season?
I'm going to say greater than 50-50.
Right? Like,
I'm going to say over 50-50. Chances are better. And that sucks. But he
not by a lot, but somewhere around 54.
55, 55, 45. But he doesn't protect himself. He does it to himself.
Exactly. Like, again, I don't think it's possible for anything to have changed in 2 weeks substantially. Perhaps he doesn't take himself out of the game because he's tired. I can see that being the big change. But aside from that, I think he is right still, hopefully at some point something happens, but he's still very much who he was.
Yeah, I think he may be like the new Trey Lance, like he'll wind up as a third stringer on a team and then ultimately cut, after getting a big high pick in the draft.
He'll wind up being a backup project situation.
Well, when we talked about it last week, we were hopeful and it didn't happen. But this week, Nico Collins, as long as there's no setbacks, the plan is Monday night against the Cowboys. Well, he gonna eat, baby. He gonna eat. The Cowboys are ready to give him Thanksgiving early.
You're worried about him drawing Diggs?
No, Diggs is not great.
You're not worried about him straining that hammy a little bit?
Well, I am worried about that, but I'm not worried about Diggs.
Okay, because those two things together equal a scary be wary for me. Just
fair enough.
But I see what you're saying.
And then you got Isaiah Pacheco, right? He's now designated to come back off IR.
Not this week.
Yeah, he won't be back this week.
Not this week.
But either next week or the weekend. It's got to be within 21 days, right?
Right.
So, but that's good. Or maybe it's good for the Chiefs, I think. I don't know.
Oh, they're doing pretty good. Fantasy. They're doing pretty good with Kareem Hunt, but I still think Kareem Hunt will get the goal line touches anyway.
He should.
I think he just drops from RB2 to flex.
Yep.
One of the things, and I don't know why anyone talks about this, but Dan Orlovsky, when he's on NFL Live, the way he breaks it down, his knowledge of the game, the way he sees it is so spectacular. You're like, how can someone this good have been so bad?
Because knowledge and then putting it into action,
two different things.
Two different things.
Almost, and I hate to say it, it almost makes you feel like those who can do and those who can't teach.
He should be a coach.
He really well, and they were. Somebody said it on the show, and they're like, "Shut up! Don't take away our personnel on the show." Yeah, they don't want that to happen. But it's come up, and people have said it. So, and of course, in the non-news only to us segment, Jonathan Mingo is gonna take the field on Monday night for the Dallas Cowboys because that'll do it.
Let's go. Here we go. Yeah.
So I just hope they go with Trey Lance. Just put Trey Lance. I do too. Just Trey Lance, Jonathan Mingo show, and let's the what we have isn't working, so let's try something.
I'll tell you what, Trey Lance's interceptions are so much prettier than Cooper Rush's. That I'm like, it's a lot more fun to he throws the interceptions with such a tight spiral.
That's true. A nice arcing motion where you can really track it and plan.
Exactly.
You can plan what you're going to do afterwards. Plenty of time with the Trey Lance ball. That's true.
Yeah. So I want to see that rather than the Ducks. But Migos, maybe they should change it from here we go to
there we went. Bye-bye.
Mingo or something. I guess you got to have three.
Yeah.
John Mingo. That's it.
Yeah. Season gone.
Yeah. Here we go. That's it.
Here we gone. Here we gone.
Oh, that's so sad.
It hurts so much. I'm wearing double Cowboys.
I'm not.
My wife got me this for my birthday. This was one of my birthday gifts. Is a new Cowboys T-shirt.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It looks like some gangster tagged it on.
Yeah, cool. It's fun. Oh. All right. Well, now what are we gonna do?
Let's not. This is the week.
Are we? Is that next? No,
I don't know.
I thought what are we gonna do is first.
Whatever you want. What are we gonna do? I've got a couple of these that.
What are we gonna do about Derek Carr? You know, Derek Carr comes back. He ends up looking pretty good. He kind of, I mean, is he startable again? Are we wait and seeing? Are we picking him up? What's going on?
Okay, I think it depends.
Guys starting him this week.
I think it depends who your quarterback is, what the matchup is, and then whether you stash him long term or not depends on. I do not know. I'm sad to say that I'm not ready to answer that part of what his fantasy playoff schedule is. Take a look at that. If he's got real good favorable matchups and you're like you're a shoe-in for the playoffs, I mean, personally, I have Burrow and his playoff. I looked at it. His playoff schedule is bad. Like it's really scary.
It's like Steelers, Ravens, like all that business.
And you saw what I did. I mean, I went and grabbed Bo Nix. I may be starting him in my fantasy playoffs. It's going to take some balls to do it.
Oh yeah, just like you started Daniel Jones last week.
Hey man, you know what? Daniel Jones scored just as many points as Jared Goff, and Jared Goff threw 5, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 5.
And let me tell you, with everyone, I could feel you losing hair. I could feel you fucking just hair. I could see it. I could feel it shooting out your head,
spraying out of the back of my head.
I was dying. Because I mean, and it's not like I hate to say it, but I guess Tua was the best option. He got what did he get you? 18 points?
10. Tua got 10. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Tua got 10. Daniel Jones got 11, and Goff got 11. So as they all were wrong. They were all wrong. They were all the wrong choice. I don't know and I lost by 6 points because I played against Kyler Murray, and I was like, oh, good, he's playing against the Jets. He's going to get shut out. 30 points. 30 points. Anyway, yeah, that's
it's tough to be a man, baby.
So what are we going to do about Carr? I say, look at his schedule, see what's going on. If it looks favorable, stash him. Keep an eye on him. If you've got the room on your bench, or I mean, I think you got like today and tomorrow to make your last trades. There's been a lot of trades in our leagues lately.
I just been like, fuck it. These teams, because there are none of them that I feel like I don't need these are all such dominant teams. I was like, they all needed pieces, and if we're gonna go for it, then let's
we made a trade. We actually made a trade. I gave you Tillman, you gave me Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Because I had Kincaid, and I don't think Kincaid's going to play.
He's not going to play. He's out.
He's not. He's out. He's already out. Okay, I didn't hear that one. So there you go. Then I think I did the right thing. I think Hawkinson, I can use him the rest.
And Tillman's one of those guys that I felt like I missed out on.
Yeah.
You
did. I think we all did.
Yeah, I feel like you got, it was a great pickup for you. And I mean, and and I always, okay, so Hawkins is on my bench, Tillman's on your bench. So to me, that's an amicable trade. I hate it when people try and trade me their bench garbage for my starters. It's like, that's the thing, guys. Let's talk about trading right now. Yeah. Bring a real trade. Okay. This idea of trying to get lucky with a trade rate is annoying. Seriously. I mean, I had a guy offered me Mark Andrews and Travis Etienne for Bijan Robinson.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not even joking. I'm like, you had the nerve to press send on that?
Do you realize how insulting that is?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's such an insult. I'm like,
what are they thinking? I know you're going to drop Travis Etienne. I know you're about to drop him.
He's yes. I'm like, get the fuck out. Bring him.
You know what I like to do when that happens? When they send me a trade like that, I say,
I sent an even more ridiculous one back.
Yeah, exactly. You send a counter offer. Like, you give me Bijan and I'll give you my kicker. How's that sound?
I was like, I'll give you Bijan, but I wanted like all his starters.
Yeah, I'll take every one of your starters.
I want McLaurin, Breece Hall, and Kyler Murray. You can have Bijan.
I might actually do that.
I was going to say, and
that doesn't sound so bad.
I would have gone with it.
But
that was literally all the scores on his team. I'm like, yeah, you're not going to take that.
Well, so like I made a trade, and I'm glad that because a lot of times people think that I am guilty of trying to take advantage. And
you're terrible about it.
That is absolutely not true. I made a very good trade for Jonathan Taylor. In our league of record.
Okay.
And I traded Nick. I said, I will give you Tank Dell with no Stephon Diggs, Juwan Jennings, and a second rounder.
Well, yeah, the second rounder really makes it. So, because the other two,
all of those guys are startable.
And Tank Dell is, especially this week. So,
right. And Juwan Jennings too. I mean, he's those are two.
BA ain't coming back. Ayuk ain't coming back. So
nope.
Why not?
I mean, Pearsall may eat into that, but I don't know. Jennings has shown that he is super reliable, and I think that was a fair trade. I'm glad that nobody said, "Oh, what is this bullshit?" But yes, if you're going to make a trade, do something. You got to do something for real. You can't do this fucking Travis Etienne and Mark Andrews for Bijan. You're just an asshole for doing it. You're just a jerk.
Like, go fuck yourself. This is why you're at the bottom. Okay, so looking really quickly.
Yes.
If you're looking at the schedule for the playoffs for Derek Carr.
Oh, good. Yes, let's do it.
His week 15 is Washington, so it's middle of the road, but an emerging difficult defense. I don't know that I want to touch that. Then Green Bay, at Green Bay. That's an indoor team going outdoors in December. Very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
And then, if you make it to the finals, Las Vegas at home. So
that's a revenge game.
Yeah. So exactly. So
that would be fun.
If you want to put him on, I was going to say, if you want to put him on your bench and maybe you turn to him in the championship, should you make it, that wouldn't be the dumbest play in the world.
It would be you would get like the Brass Balls Award as well as your championship.
Yeah.
If what you think is going to happen happens. that's calling your shot. I like that. I think Washington, you could probably play in against them too, because he's going to be forced to throw it a lot. There's going to be a lot of points. They're going to get behind, I think. And so I imagine that he'll throw it a lot. And now that MVS is there, he's got a new Rashid Shaheed to throw to. So
we'll see.
I'm not too. It's definitely not versus Green Bay. I wouldn't do it versus Green Bay. Washington is a maybe. It depends on what else you got.
I don't know. That defense is heating up every single week, and I don't see it cooling off, except for possibly tonight versus Philly. We'll see. That's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. Yes. What are we going to do about Malik Neighbors? If in fact Drew Lock is going to be.
Well, as we've seen with the BJT situation, the change in quarterback at this stage for these reasons doesn't usually mean upside. It unfortunately usually means downside. So
can you see how many targets he got, BJT? I'm just curious.
He had. Actually, let me look.
If he had 9 targets, then that's good. It's just that they just got to get on track. Like I feel okay. Like 9 or more is like okay. That's what you want to see. But if he only had like 5 or 6 targets, then it's scary.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I mean, I don't know if that can be. If you can fix it. I know it was just he only had the 1 week.
Yeah. 3 targets.
Yeah, that's 2
receptions, 12 yards, 2.2 points.
Wow.
Against Minnesota, which is 3rd easiest. And now they're getting Detroit, 2nd easiest. Absolutely untrustable. He's out of my lineup right now.
Yeah, you can't.
He's one of the reasons. That situation is one of the reasons I had to make the trade that I made for Jaden Reed, because I'm like, I need somebody else. Somebody else. And yes, Dobbs had that couple of weeks where the squeaky wheel gets a wheel, but I think we're back to the Jaden Reed, Christian Watson show with the occasional Dobbsy, and that'll be
a great flex rest of season for you.
Yeah,
I mean, when and if for start spot matchups, whatever, and even in tough matchups, I still think that Jaden Reed is clearly the most talented one over there. I think that he's the one.
Clearly, he's the fastest. He's the best.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about Breece Hall?
I tell you what, we're going to keep starting him, but we're not going to like it.
It reminds me of the Bijan situation last season, where you're like, just give him the fucking ball. Just hand him the ball.
We all hated Arthur Smith.
There's no fucking. You're right, Arthur Smith. Like I don't know. Let's use a lot of Algier. Now less, now more. Like, oh my God. Let's let Bijan run the whole field. Okay, put in Algier to get the touchdown. Like, it was horrifying.
They tried to do it again last week.
This year, they just aren't handing it to him. They're just letting old man Rodgers, who looks so old, talk. You know that old phrase, when it goes fast.
Yeah.
And we have seen it this season in 10
I've
weeks.
Experienced it in my
We've
own
seen
life.
this jet once again, this thing is crashing into the crust of the earth because he just looks old, and he looks old sitting there. He looks like, he's the same age, I guess. I mean, he looks like flat, you know what I mean? Like, he just looks old.
Just yawning and sleeping on the sideline.
And he looks, and poor Devontae Adams just walking around like, what did I do?
You know what the thing is he's just on ayahuasca. That's why he looks like that.
He looks terrible.
Looks like he's in Breece Hall,
but yet they're like, sling it, and he's doing a terrible job of that. It's been horrible.
I think the problem is that they're not doing. You know what? The thing that was great about Breece was he would do these. He would go out like 2 yards and turn around, and they would throw. They would throw it to him.
Yeah.
And he would get like a 3-yard pass and run for 50 yards. Like he had great hands, and he would get all these catches, and he doesn't check it down at all. And when he does, it's not like immediate. And by the time he's going to check it down, Breece is already covered because he doesn't go out very far. So he just turns around and button hooks, and then it's like the guy's like, oh, I better get over there, and then it's too late. So he's throwing it to, schmucks that we don't know, or Conklin.
Honestly, that's what stopped me from sending that trade, because I was like, I'm already suffering with Breece Hall on 2 teams. I'm not going to do this again. I don't want it. Yeah, I'm like, you got nothing I want. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we're going to start him, but it's not going to be fun. I mean,
yeah.
I am hoping
you kind of just got to ride it out with him. Yeah, because the trade value isn't there. No. There's nowhere to go with him but down. So you kind of just got to ride it out with him, because his draft price was so high.
Nowhere to go but up, you mean? And nowhere to go but up.
Okay, so yes.
Right.
What do you mean?
You said nowhere to go but down.
Yeah.
No, there's nowhere to go but up. He's been so down.
No, I'm just saying in terms of his trade value, only thing you're going to get
yes, absolutely.
is well below what you should be getting for a Breece Hall. And again, it goes back to, I sometimes question my decision-making and my choices in the draft. And I'm like, but all the experts rank number 2, and I'm like, who am I to go against this sea of experts?
Well, not to mention what you saw with your own eyes the year before.
Yeah, and you're thinking with Rodgers coming back, where else can
they're going to open it up? Yes, they're going to open things up big time for him. I thought
the overriding lesson here is the Jets will always be the Jets. And I said this at the beginning of the season, remember? And everyone, and I said, no, we saw this before with the Browns. When on paper with Baker and the defense and all the play and Chubb and Jarvis Landry and Amari. Right. And it looks so
Odell Beckham.
Right. It looks so beautiful on paper. We're like, well, how can it go wrong? And the Browns can't help being the fucking Browns. Jets can't help being the fucking Jets. Just don't touch them. It's pure evil. It's pure evil. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do about all of the Colts wide receivers now that Richardson's back? Can you start any of other than maybe Pierce?
Pierce in DFS,
or right?
Or as a dart throw flex.
No Pittman, no Downs, right? Downs is done.
Downs is down.
Downs is down and out.
Yeah. That was not his
Adonai Mitchell was actually starting to come alive. And I think that's going to put the kibosh on him. All of them get downgraded. I don't know. I think I'm going to probably drop Downs. I picked him up when I heard Flacco.
I wouldn't drop him. I would hold him. Let's just see. You do have to kind of see what's in this box. Yeah. What's in the box? But it's probably a severed head.
Yeah.
Of Josh Downs.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about Jalen Waddle?
Oh,
when is he going to get going? And they were flat at the beginning of last week's game on Monday night, and he caught He caught like 3 passes out of the first 7 plays, and I'm like
55 yards.
Totally, I'm like, here it comes, the Jalen Waddle game. This is the one that resets the market for Jalen Waddle, and that was it. Just stopped playing in the first quarter. Not another reception the rest of the game.
It was just back and forth, interception, fumble, turnover, interception, fumble. It was like nobody ever had the ball long enough to get anything going. It was such a weird game.
It was the weirdest game. I lost money on it. I bet on a prop bet that each team would have a running and receiving touchdown. And it was like plus 245. And I'm like, free money. Please take me to your ATM. Right? And Miami did it. Miami got one of those. And then somehow the Rams at home on Monday Night Football, it could not muster a single touchdown. It was the saddest Cardi party of them all.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, what do you think? What are we going to do about Brock Bowers now that Desmond Ridder is there?
You got to take a wait and see. You're probably starting him because of the tight end position, and he's fucking Brock Bowers. And in reality, if you look at it, his value should remain the same or go up because this guy's going to be panicking. Brock Bowers should be the outlet. He should be the safety valve over and over and over again. So if anything, potentially it could even go up. But again, what's in the box?
I don't know, man.
Is it the severed head of Brock Bowers? I hope not.
I sure hope not. It's been fun watching this rookie cook,
Yeah.
I think he's shown everybody that rookie tight ends can absolutely. Laporta did it last year. He's doing it this year. So all that narrative about rookie tight ends never do anything, that's dead. That's gone.
I love that Laporta was back and scoring and then dislocated his shoulder.
And so now I think he gone.
I don't think he's gone. In fact, he's day to day and may play this week, but I bet he sits out at least a week.
One hit on that shoulder and he gone.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna he probably takes the week off. But they say he's trending to it. We'll see. They say what they say. We'll see.
You got any other questions?
I don't.
I have one last one. What are we going to do about Amari Cooper? What are we going to do about this guy?
Okay. I'm starting him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Over who?
Probably nobody good. Probably like Jalen Waddle or something like that.
Right.
Like,
well, you know
what I mean? Like, yeah. But what I like about Amari Cooper playing is it opens up Shakir again. We've seen that when he's out and Keon Coleman's out and it's just Shakir, he struggles. But when Amari's there, they have to cover him, and that opens him up out of the slot, and Shakir has a very good day. The one thing, and the other reason I like him this week is this. Despite the fact that he hasn't been playing, he has been practicing. And that is what he needed. He just needed the practice reps because we know what a talent he is on the field. We've seen it translate from quarterback to quarterback. They called him quarterback proof in Cleveland until Deshaun Watson showed up. So my feeling is with 3 extra weeks of at least practice, I like his prospects. Do I expect boom? No. Do I expect 12 points?
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you next. Can he get double digits?
I'd say 12.
All right. Hey, you know what? That's a wonderful flex number. I'm very happy with 12 points out of Amari Cooper. I just don't know what to do with him. You know, would you start Tank Dell over him? I think I might. And then
this week, yes.
And then, if T. Higgins plays, would you start him over?
No, absolutely not. I would go Amari Cooper.
Amari over
because they both have some dings that they're working through, whereas he has much greater competition over there for targets in Cincinnati than Amari does in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So for me, that would be an easy choice to go with Amari Cooper over T. Higgins.
Yeah, and Keon Coleman is already out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he is out.
So that is good. Okay, well that's good. I think there's a lot of people who want to know what the hell to do with Amari Cooper. I am one of them. So I'm glad to hear you say that you're starting him. And I like
if anything, he's good for Khalil Shakir. If he starts, fire up Shakir.
Oh, yeah. I think you should fire up Shakir anyway.
It gets a little
against
scary.
Kansas City? Who else is he going to throw it to?
I know, but it gets a little more in the scary, be wary, because, again, when it's just him,
just everyone could blanket, and he's not exactly tall.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. He needs a big guy on the outside to take that heat off him.
Yeah, you're right. It will help a lot.
Yeah, so I hope he plays. And he's trending towards playing, just like Nico Collins. And let's hope they both take the field. Cool. All right, let's move on, because I got to tell you, buddy, this is the week that the Chiefs take their first L.
Boom. Crossed it right off my list.
Yeah.
Chiefs get first loss.
Yep. First one, baby, because it'll be just like the Bills to win in the regular season and then lose in the playoffs.
100%.
It is just the way it's. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. I mean, that's just what's going to happen, and that is what I'm hanging my hat on. This is the week.
100%. I have the same thing. I'm not going to say it. So instead, I'm going to pull a Greg Wilson, go a little extra spicy, and say that this is the week that not only will the quarterback be number one for his team, but the wide receiver will be number one for his team.
Let me guess which team, and I'm going to join you, and it's the Detroit Lions.
Nope.
Oh.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh.
Russell Wilson and Pickens will be the number one quarterback and wide receiver.
Wow.
First, Baltimore. Well, we just saw Burrow and Chase do it. I think we're going to run that back with Russell and Pickens. Number one and number one. I like the idea of Amon-Ra and Goff coming back and just really killing him. First of all,
that is where I'm gonna. This is the week that they make a huge bounce back. Again, they're at home versus the Jags, which they will show the matchup that Minnesota failed to do. They will do this week, especially with that incredibly beautiful run game. And I think Jared Goff has the big time beautiful bounce back. Big time Jared Goff, number one, and St. Brown, wide receiver one. Lock them up. We're doing that.
Well, I would say that this is the week that Joe Mixon is RB number one versus my beloved Cowboys. We're going to say right this way, sir. Come on through.
Well, I got to tell you, on my list, this is the week that Joe Mixon is RB1.
Look at us. We are amazing that we have the exact same.
Right there, boy. Locked and loaded.
Unbelievable.
Mixon, RB1 versus Cowboys. It breaks my heart in so many ways because I traded him away in one league, but I did get two. But for two good players, I needed a receiver, and I got another running back, I believe. So,
all right.
Yeah, I mean,
but you still,
and at the time he was at the time he was injured, and so I was afraid that
he wasn't during that 4-week span where he was off,
where he had the ankle issue, and so I was like, okay, well, let me flip him now so I can at least get a decent receiver and a decent replacement running back. So I flipped it for two players, Kareem Hunt and Cortland Sutton.
Oh, and awesome.
That's great. And they've worked out for me quite well since then. But just watching him do so well has been really. But I needed that wide receiver, and I have to admit, Cortland Sutton's done really, really well for me.
Oh, bro.
So and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's been, he hasn't been Joe Mixon, but I mean, he's been getting it done week in, week out. So so far,
teaser. I'll be mentioning Cortland Sutton later in the show.
I like it. So those are my This Is the Weeks.
Same.
All right, let's move on.
I can't believe we had two were exactly the same. I mean, you guys, we don't talk about it beforehand, obviously.
Yeah.
And we could go anywhere with this, like anything. And we had both the Chiefs get their first loss and Mixon RB1.
There you go. And we both stacked, once again, the QB wide receiver ones, but with two different great matchups.
I'm sure one of us will be right.
Yes, I think one of us will be right. And I'm pretty sure it'll be me. Now, don't be surprised if the Chargers upset Cincinnati this week.
Well, they are favored, believe it or not.
Well, they're in LA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're favored by 2.5. So that usually
1.5.
Oh, 1.5. See, so that shows you already that
it's basically a pick 'em. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think the Chargers. I know on the betting line it's not an upset, but let's be honest, on paper it's an upset for the Chargers to beat Cincinnati. So I like them this week. I really do.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I would say don't be surprised if Stroud goes over 30 fantasy points this week.
Yeah. I hate to say it. He's in the must-start list.
Yeah. I hate it. Hey, well, let's just hope we do something with a good draft pick.
Yeah. Let's hope we get a good draft pick for once. My other, don't be surprised, which you're going to like right here. I only have the two, Chargers upsetting Cincy, and don't be surprised if Pickens is the wide receiver one this week.
Boom.
There it is. That was my number, my A1, A2. My A2 was Pickens. I was like, if it weren't for the fact that they're at home against the Jags, I would go with Pickens.
And after such a dud,
and it could be a match. It could be a mix and match.
We may tie. You're out. Pickens wide receiver one, but
Goff is the QB one, or it could be
versa.
Russell with Amon-Ra. Like it could be a mix and match of those two.
Yeah, it could be. But I would say don't be surprised if Bo Nix finishes as a top 5 quarterback for fantasy this week. Don't be surprised. The kid is running. The kid is throwing. The kid is accurate. He is seeing the field. He is progressing each and every week. And, they don't get the national games. They don't get the attention. They don't get the big games. So I don't know how many people are really watching aside from Bert. Like, he's the only one who's seen Bo Nix play every snap, So I'd say don't be surprised if he finishes. And I do want to take a quick timeout here to say, I had said, don't be surprised if Tyrone Tracy finishes as a top 5 running back. And he got 103 yards and a touchdown, but you won't remember that. You'll remember that he lost the game.
Yeah,
against Carolina.
And he cried.
That hurts. I cried for him.
He cried like remember the coach came over and just threw a towel over his head? Because he's like, the world's watching you, dude. Stop that shit.
Yep. And then somebody came and put another towel over his head. Like, hey, they put 2 towels over his head. They were like, we can still see you shaking under his towel. Here's another towel.
He was a broken man after that. He really was.
Yeah, that was sad. I feel bad for him because he was just destroying it. And I was like, you know what? I think he's going to do it. And then he lost those points. And then he lost the game. I don't know. I think he may have lost his belief in himself,
Yeah, that one was a heartbreaker. Although I do like I mean, you got to think of this as a team now that's incredibly confident in Denver, having come within a fingertip of beating the Kansas City Chiefs.
Unbelievable.
So he does, I mean, which is why I like Cortland Sutton. And again, versus Atlanta, and they're at home. So they're dragging a dome team into the weather a mile high up.
And don't you think that they're a little bit upset about how that game ended?
And that defense, do you think the defense wants to leave it up to a last? No,
special teams.
Very dangerous week for Atlanta to be out there in Denver. I like that. I like that call a lot. I think that's pretty sweet. Anything else? Any other surprises?
Well, just don't be surprised. And I think we sort of already alluded to it. Don't be surprised if Pittsburgh beats the Ravens. Don't be surprised. They always play each other super, super tough.
I was going to say it is going to be a slugfest for sure.
And it's going to be. I think it's going to be just as entertaining as the Baltimore Cincinnati game was last Thursday. And I'm actually very excited about tonight's game as well. But I'd just say, don't be surprised if the Steelers do it again and they beat the Ravens. Mike Tomlin's a fucking genius, and they're doing it. They find a way to win.
I know, but at the end of the day, so do the Ravens this season. He is having that season. Lamar is, and we all know
the Ravens lost to the Raiders. And
week 2 before
they lost to
out
Cleveland.
Okay, that was a total outlier versus Cleveland, even though I had told you they played each other incredibly tough. I said, don't be surprised if Cleveland beats them, and they did.
Well,
right?
These guys
it
played
was
each other
just
tough.
One of those random games, though. It's not the same. I don't expect anybody to sneak on them. In the first 2 games, that was just they didn't know how to use Derrick Henry yet. So they had this big howitzer of a gun, and they didn't know how to fucking point it. So
give him the ball and say, go.
Well, they figured that out, didn't they?
It's pretty easy.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out the obvious.
Right. That seems like a pretty easy thing to do.
Sometimes you're so used to having to work around deficiencies, you don't know how to work with surplus.
That's a good point, because they never really did have a run game aside from Jackson.
Yeah, it was always guys just injured. They would go down one after the other. Boom.
Yeah, boom. Dobbins.
It was a curse to be the running back, because they just picked the dudes that got injured all the time. It was terrible.
You're right. All of them.
Gus Edwards, all of them.
Edwards, you're right.
Yeah,
I think they both didn't.
So they went out and got the most durable fucking tank they could find.
Yeah, they did.
Best move they could make, and Dallas missed out.
They're killing it. Well, that's all I've got as far as don't be surprised. Everything else, be surprised.
Yes.
Everything
else should be a pleasant or horrible surprise.
Yes.
Let's go to our must starts. For me, we starts tonight and on Thursday night, and everybody in the Philly versus Washington game is a must start. Even the defenses are a must start. It's Thursday night. This could go any direction, and every player, there's not a one of them that might be the game changer. There's not a one of them that might be they all might be the guy. They all
Brian Robinson is back.
Brian Robinson is back. Yeah. But now they've learned how to use Eckler in transition situations. I mean,
I'm very excited.
You're going to play Saquon and Devonta and AJ, but the defenses might have the huge day, and they might still score a bunch of points and have a bunch of sacks. I mean, we saw this last week with Detroit Lions. So pretty much everyone is in play tonight. I don't know how you sit.
Well, not everyone. Not everyone. I don't think I would play Goddard.
I would play Goddard.
And I definitely would not play Zach Ertz.
I think after what you saw out of Goddard last week, I think he's a must start.
Real okay, all right, fair enough. I mean, I don't think I would do it. I think I would pivot just because also it's a Thursday game, and I
don't love Thursday games either. But with the tight end position being as thin as it is, and Ertz too, Ertz he's been a bit of a safety valve. I mean, he's involved. He has good games, he has not good games. But if you have to use Ertz, there's a reason, and I would play it.
Yeah, I suppose that's a.
I think they're all.
You know what? You've got a very good point. If that's what you've got, if that's your option,
you better start. I don't know. What do you? I mean, it's because you're probably between like him and Conklin or him and Disley. Although I might go with Disley.
I would go with Disley.
I would go with Disley over Ertz this week.
I think I'd go Conklin over Ertz.
I think I would. Jets.
Jets. I said I think I would. I don't know. Jets. I'm certainly not going to put $5 on it. Would you rather play
a slice of the Jets or a slice of the Commanders?
I'll take the Commanders.
Thank you.
I'll take the Commanders.
Thank you.
When you put it like that, it does really simplify it, doesn't it?
It really does.
So, okay, must start. Okay, you've got your blanket must start there.
My blanket must start. I have a couple more blankets really quickly. Sure. Detroit versus the Jags. Load them up. Mm-hmm. Minnesota versus Tennessee. They should have a bounce back. If they don't, I don't know what to tell you anymore about that fucking team. And then Miami, with the exception of Waddle, versus Las Vegas.
Isn't that sad?
Those are my
that disclaimer.
It's so sad. It's unreal. It's like, come on, snap out of it.
You know, Waddle cannot stay healthy either. He's got issues. He just can't stay healthy. And then if they don't get him going, you know, early in the season, we've seen what happens. It's just like they don't know what to do. And now it's all Jonnu Smith is getting all this work. And that weird, that rookie, what's his name? I guess he's not weird. It's weird as a fantasy football guy.
Who, Craycraft?
No, Washington.
Oh, I don't.
The guy, I can't remember his first name, but the guy who's vultured the touchdown immediately from Devon Achane on the end around.
Right, Jalen Wright. Are you talking about Jalen Wright?
No. It was like a jet sweep end around wide receiver. Some guy.
Yeah, wasn't it like his one play? Like he wasn't on the field.
No, they threw to him a couple times too. So I don't know. It's like those should all be going to Waddle. You started with Waddle, and you were doing great. Why did you move away from him?
I don't know what's going on there.
It's very odd.
No one knows what's going on there.
Yeah. So
all right. So those are my blanket must starts.
Mm-hmm. I don't usually do blankets. I don't think I've got any of those, but I do have a couple of quarterbacks that you must start. We already talked about C.J. Stroud and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I've got Stroud on there, and I've got Russell Wilson as well. Yeah. My other two must-start quarterbacks are Sam Darnold, who is in the blanket under Minnesota versus the Titans, and Herbert versus Cincinnati. I think Herbert's going to really have I think he's going to go off.
You know, Cincinnati's defense has been improving, but they still break. They bend and then they break.
Yeah, versus the pass.
Versus the pass. They're super susceptible. I think saying Sam Darnold is a must-start is a little risky, you know, personally.
I think, versus the Titans, I think he has to be. If he's not, I give up.
The Titans have a good defense, you know?
Yeah. Now, who would you start? Because I have this dilemma in one of my leagues. I'm not even joking. One of my leagues, one of my teams, I have Herbert, I have Stroud, and I have Jordan Love versus Chicago.
Stroud
straight up.
Especially if Nico Collins comes.
That's true. That's
I'm taking Stroud. Taking Stroud.
Yeah.
That's me. But, you know, that's because he played pretty damn good without Nico.
He did this week. He absolutely did this week.
Versus Detroit. And I don't know how Detroit wound up actually winning. Remember, I said, don't be surprised if Houston wins if Nico plays. Well, it turns out that Nico didn't have to play, and they still almost won, which was shocking.
It was a crazy. Well, that Houston defense is getting better and better and better.
Yep, they sure are.
I mean, geez, 5 interceptions. I mean, come on. This is no slack-jawed yokel quarterback. This is Jared Goff with an incredible set of receivers.
Who was on a pace like he was the most accurate. He's one of. I don't know if he's the most, but I think he's like in the top 5 most accurate quarterbacks. It's the most accurate season he's had as a quarterback.
I have to tell you, the most fun was feeling your consternation because you had gone, it was your third choice. You had debated it, so the internal debate raged for days, and then you switched it. You went from Daniel, you went to no, Tua. I'm going with Tua. I'm sticking with Tua. Then you're like, fuck it, Goff. Here's $5.
Tyreek might not play, and then Tyreek does play, and then but it's on Monday, so you can't make your decision on that.
No, totally. And the decision wasn't made till game time. Like nobody knew until like an hour and a half before, and they're like, it looks like he's gonna play.
What
like,
he'll have one catch for 16 yards.
I was gonna say, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
No, they were all the wrong decision.
Yeah.
They were all
11
wrong. Points
exactly.
At most.
It didn't matter which one you chose, which is almost comforting knowing that there wasn't one that was the one, you know, that they were all. It's almost better if
I lost $5 all because of this. Not only did I sweat, I lost money. But you know, this brings us to the teaser that I brought up earlier as far as wide receivers are concerned.
Wait, you don't have any running backs?
Well, you want to go there first? We can do that.
You should running backs.
I've got one. I've only got one.
I only got one too. What's yours?
Is it Kareem Hunt?
It sure is. Kareem Hunt versus Buffalo. What's his name's not coming back just yet. Buffalo's terrible against the run, and I think it's a beautiful Kareem Hunt day. Absolutely must start.
And I believe that Kareem Hunt is going to try extra hard this game. I'm not saying he didn't always try really hard, but I think he's going to have a little extra incentive to really say, hey, why don't you take another week to rest up?
Make sure he's 100%.
Right.
I'm doing pretty good out here.
I've got this. So must start Kareem Hunt. He's the only running back I got.
My only one, Kareem Hunt. Because the rest are either obvious or dart throws.
Exactly. 100% agree. So you want to move on to wide receivers?
Yep, wide receivers.
We already talked Pickens, right?
Yes.
So, but I say must start. We brought him up earlier. I think you're going to love to hear it. Courtland Sutton this week. I think is going to have
Atlanta
phenomenal week. I think he's going to go over 20 points. I think.
I mean, when you look at the fact that Atlanta just got torched by Derek Carr and the nobodies,
right?
I feel pretty good about Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton in this game. To me, Courtland Sutton is an absolute must start this week.
Now, sidebar: how do you feel about this Audric Estime?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, he's creating another three-headed monster, but he seems to be, I mean, he's getting touches. There is value there right now. He's borderline flex, but that's it. But in a few weeks, he may be the man.
Right. Yeah, I don't think you're right. He's not startable yet.
He's
not startable yet.
Not just yet. That
just
needs to cook in the oven another 2 weeks, I think, in the oven before that bird is ready.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh my God.
Right around Thanksgiving, baby.
Yeah, you got me. I just started thinking about it. I'm so
when that
excited.
bird comes out of the oven, you fire up Audric Estime, boy.
The best.
Fire it up.
Oh, and I don't have to worry about if I miss any of the Cowboy game this year. It's going to be so easy to just enjoy the food.
Yeah, because fuck the Cowboys.
It's just terrible.
Must start.
Yep.
Calvin Ridley. No.
Oh, that's a great one.
Versus the Vikings. They are vulnerable to the pass. And it's sort of the Will Levis, Calvin Ridley thing. It seems to be a thing now, boy.
Big time.
Yeah, boy, big time. Targets. It is. And they're going to be having to catch up, I think, with the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means a big Calvin Ridley day.
I love it. You got any other wide receivers?
Yes.
Give me all your wide receivers.
Garrett Wilson versus Indianapolis in a bounce back.
That's a gimme.
Tank Dell, Cowboys. Tillman at New Orleans, and of course Pickens, who we both love this week. So there you go. Those are the must starts.
Love them all. For tight ends, I say you must start Dawson Knox. Now that I know for sure,
absolutely. I was going to add him to mine as well. Yeah,
like I'm definitely putting him in every DFS lineup that I've got.
And listen, if you're struggling right now, before this news you need to get out there and grab him off the wire because he's on a ton of wires and he's the man now for this week. And they're going to need them to beat the Chiefs. They're going to need Dawson.
And the one place the Chiefs are vulnerable,
tight end.
There
you go.
So you must start him.
For me, the must-start tight end is Jonnu Smith. versus Las Vegas. He's turned into a bit of a, and I think what we're seeing
that's my other tight end to start as well.
Yeah,
so we
because I think what we're seeing is in lieu of him running Tua now in order to protect himself, he's checking down to Jonnu Smith.
But won't wear a guardian cap.
Yeah.
What a fucking idiot.
Other guys on the field are wearing one. Wear one too.
Achan's got one. I mean, they look a little weird and mushroomy, but
who cares?
You want
if anyone needs to be wearing, the fucking team should make it mandatory that he fucking wears one.
It should be an NFL
I know.
rule,
and then he's going out there and this is where me and Dan Orlovsky definitely split, because he went out there and threw his body in front of that guy and took a knee to the fucking head.
Oh yeah.
And Orlovsky's like, calm down. He's playing football. It's like, yeah, he's playing the wrong way for a guy who might lose his fucking brain.
That's not his position.
Totally. You run at it, you throw your arms at it, and like,
you push your teammate toward the guy,
exactly. You don't throw your body at his
put yourself in harm's way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, your head toward his knee.
Yeah, easy for you to say, Dano.
Yeah. Because you know why? Because he got hit in the head a few times too.
Yeah. While he was running out of the back end of the end zone.
Those are my two tight ends. We did defenses. I think these are pretty obvious. I've got two of them.
Okay, I've only got one.
I've got Miami versus Vegas. After what we saw.
Absolutely.
And the Saints versus Cleveland. I think those are obvious.
I've got the Jets defense versus the Colts. I know that the Jets are struggling, but the Colts, Anthony Richardson's a turnover machine. Sauce Gardner is going to be just baiting him all afternoon. Yeah. I think it's a 3-interception day. I think
it's going to be Jonathan Taylor day. That's going to save
well, maybe, but the pick six, I think, is easily in the cards. And again, they still do have a decent rush line. I definitely like the Jets defense in this one versus the Colts.
Well, I don't have as many sits.
I don't either. I only have 3 sits.
Okay, let's hear what you got.
My blanket sit is all Jaguars until further notice.
Right on.
Yep. Simple as that. Until further notice, sit the Jags. None of them are trustable.
Yep.
And then who do you got?
I say you must sit Cousins this week.
Okay.
Versus who was it? Denver. We saw what they did to Mahomes, and let's face it, Cousins is no Mahomes. All right. So if they can do that too, and Cousins, Mahomes moves around, in the pocket, and gets out of the pocket and does stuff. But look at this. Now there's a thumbs up. I don't know how to get rid of that.
I don't know what that means.
Because I went.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I guess you got to do it weird.
Thanks for nothing, Zoom. I'll have to figure out how to turn that feature off.
You must sit Kirk Cousins, and I say that he's also been banged up this week. So,
which brings me to one of my must sits, Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
For the same reason, Patrick Surtain is going to be all over him. They're going to be all over Cousins. I don't like the matchups at all. I would sit him if you could. Obviously, you can't sit Bijan Robinson, but you're going to have to fade him.
I don't know if you can sit Drake London at this point either. I mean, knowing that Kurt's playing.
Agreed. But if you have another option, I would look at other options.
Yeah, I might. We've been mentioning him. It's sort of like, look at Tank Dell. If you've got somebody like that, or if you've got even a Jawan Jennings, like I might play them over him this week.
Yeah, over Drake this week, absolutely.
Because of Patrick Surtain and
that pass rush
Kirk not being so healthy on top of it. So, and Drake's not exactly the picture health right now either. So he might be a must sit. I just think it'll be a real hard thing to do as the manager.
I'm saying you sit Drake London. My one running back is unfortunately a guy I love, but James Cook.
That's my running back as well.
Yeah.
Number one versus the run. And he's been kind of tapering off a little bit anyway.
A little bit. And especially because they can also turn to Ray Davis now. So
correct. Who's looking actually really good.
Who's ascending. So
I'm hoping that the Cowboys find a way to get him.
Ray Davis might be a guy that might actually prove to have a better day against Kansas City than Cook. Which again all leads to Cook just being an absolute sit if he can. If 100%. He can. Which most people can't. I get it, but you should.
It sucks. He's got the hardest. I also have Pollard again as a must sit versus Minnesota. They're very good against the run. And, we said it last week, and, we were basically right. He got 10.1 points. I suppose for a flex, that's fine. But he had Nixon-like numbers. He had like 25 carries for 45 yards or something. And
yeah.
Super inefficient.
Yeah.
But the only thing that saved him is that he is getting some catches. He was 4 for 4 on receptions for like 18 or 19 yards. So that's what brought him up to 10 points.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get that again versus Minnesota, but I would look for another flex if I had it. I would take a Jaden Reed or somebody like that over Pollard or even Cook, I think, this week.
Yeah.
And then what about I'm just going to say sit all the wide receivers on Indy.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know what you're getting.
And then for defense,
I do like Alec Pierce as a DFS dart throw.
True. Yeah, I think yes. If you're desperate, if it turns into one of those things where you need something amazing, like you played against Burrow and Chase. On Thursday, they have 100 points.
I was up against that.
Yeah. You're like, all right, well, then I'm going to have to play Alec Pierce, and I've got to play the big possible boom. I've got to take the biggest chance. Then you start him.
Dude, he was up 109 on me after Thursday night, but I only lost by 20, 169 to 149.
That's
and it was one of those weeks where the 149 would have beaten everybody else by 40 points.
The worst is when you finish
second in the game where you're playing the one.
The one, yeah, that hurts. It stings the worst.
It stings the worst.
Almost as bad as losing by 0.2 points or something.
Right, it's right up there with that.
Those both really suck.
Yes.
But I do have just a couple of defenses, and that's I would sit the Seahawks. I mean, I think you might be anyway versus the Niners, and then what is it? The Bears. Sit the Bears defense versus Green Bay. Yeah. The Bears have been decent on defense, but Green Bay is coming up, and I think Chicago's falling apart. I don't know what's going on with this new coordinator, so I would sit them.
Okay.
Yep.
Scary, be wary. I've got Bijan versus Denver. That's my big scary, be wary. We already talked about it. Obviously you're going to play him, but scary, be wary. Nico versus the Cowboys for reasons we expounded on earlier. Injuries still lingering, and the Diggs coverage. It's the one great piece.
Is Deron Bland back? Do we know?
I think he might be back. He might be back, or he might. I don't know. I know he's close.
If he's back, then that is a much even more beware.
Yeah,
because they should trade off on him.
And also, I have Hopkins in Buffalo as a scary be wary.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I've got no wide receivers. I have none. But now that you say that, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is a very good one. I have one running back, and that's Kamara. Beware. I'm going to play him. But versus Cleveland, he's getting older. I guess he had that broken freaking wrist that he didn't tell anybody about.
Till after he got paid. He got paid, and he's like, oh, by the way, I broke my wrist.
Yeah, I might need a break. But yeah, I would, Cleveland's strong on the run D. So
yeah,
beware.
Very true. I like it. And who you got in your sleep? Oh, do you have any more?
Oh yeah, I've got beware of Brock Bowers just because of Desmond Ridder.
Right.
And Evan Ingram versus Detroit. Yeah. Beware. But I guess now that Mac is playing, I guess just
I was gonna say he's a Jaguar, so I got him in a must sit.
And then beware of, and I know this is gonna sound a little counterintuitive, but just beware of Jordan Love versus Chicago, because that could turn out the other way.
So big time rivalry game. They play each other very tough, no matter where they're at, no matter what the records are, no matter. You're right. That is one of the biggest rivalries in football, and they're going to play each other. I mean, nose to nose, very tough.
And beware the Bills versus the Chiefs, and the Chiefs versus the Bills.
Yeah.
Beware both defenses.
Yeah.
They both.
Can go certainly. Crazy. Yeah.
They both can go crazy on defense. But they could both go crazy on offense. It's just you're going to probably play.
It's just like the Philly Washington game tonight.
Right. Beware. I mean, they're both good.
Could be great, could be bad. Who knows?
Right.
All right.
Right. You want to do
You
some
ready to move
flyers?
on? Let's do some sleepers and flyers.
Let's do it.
For me, if you're going to take a flyer, I kind of like Ty Spears versus the Vikings. While I agree with you, Pollard's a sit with all likelihood. Ty I feel like will get some good pass catching opportunities now that he's kind of working his way back into the rotation. I think he might be the more effective back in this particular matchup. So if you can maybe take a flyer on Ty Spears.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving it a whirl.
Yeah.
I've got two quarterbacks here to take a flyer on.
Okay.
Let's take a flyer on, and again, flyer. Okay, this is sleeper. This is not a must start. These are flyers. Take one on Will Levis versus Minnesota, and take one on Aaron Rodgers, because we already said you like Calvin Ridley. Well, Will Levis is going to throw on the ball. He could have a good game. So and Aaron Rodgers versus who are they playing?
Indianapolis.
I mean, geez, I like kind of all of them. I like Conklin. I like and it's weird they're Jets, but I'd say I'll take a flyer because that's what he is now. I mean, he's not a starter, but he's super low on DFS. So that's I think of that like where you want to save money are these picks. But those two quarterbacks, I think you got a shot at doing all right. What about you got any running backs?
Yeah, Ty Spears. That was the other one.
I got Nick Chubb. Take a shot flyer. He has not been good. In fact,
I was going to say more than
I dropped him.
Okay.
Held him all year. Watched him play twice. Dropped him.
Yeah. What did I say?
You were right.
What did I say?
Right.
It's almost like I said it.
No, you said it. That the injury was so severe that he is not going to be the same. And
not this season. Maybe next season, but not this season.
Yeah, but I'd say take a flyer on him this week.
Okay.
He's playing against the third worst defense for running backs.
Right.
And then take a shot on Jaylen Warren, because Najee's a little banged up, and I think that they're going to give him a little more. They're going to give Warren. He's been getting more and more involved anyway.
He has been, absolutely.
And he's been looking,
which I like that.
Good.
I like that. I think it's better for the team.
So do I. I think it helps everybody. It helps.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at a potential run in the playoffs. You want to keep your guys fresher. Well, you got to alternate that.
And you look at, he's like the Chase Brown guy, right? Chase Brown went off on the Ravens because he's the pass catching running back.
Right.
Well, the pass catching running back is Jaylen Warren. So he might do that same Chase Brown thing. Chase Brown had 20-something 3 points or something, last Thursday. So
yeah, absolutely.
Take a flyer on freaking what's his face? Jalen.
Yeah, Jaylen Warren. Now, do you have any my wide receivers?
Yeah.
I like Mike Williams because it's versus Baltimore. Again, if heavy coverage goes to Pickens, well, Mike Williams has shown already that he can be effective. Pearsall versus Seattle, and Jerry Jeudy versus New Orleans. I mean, I like Tillman, but if all the coverage goes to Tillman, well, then it could easily turn into a Jerry Jeudy day. I mean, they basically split in terms of touches last week. So, although the bigger pass, the end zones tend to go to Tillman, Jerry Jeudy had just as many targets. So, I mean, excuse me, little flyer on Jerry Jeudy.
All right, I don't mind that. I'm saying take a flyer on Jacoby Myers as a wide receiver.
Okay.
I mean, look, Miami is not
with
great.
Ritter throwing him the ball.
It's not a great matchup. That's why it's a flyer. He's got to throw it. He's got to throw it to somebody, and it's going to be Bowers and what's his face, Jacoby. So, take a flyer maybe on him and see if he hyper targets Jacoby Myers, because I've seen people do that before. So I'm just saying it's a flyer, and let's take a flyer on John Mechie.
I like that one. He showed some involvement. He was involved. He was getting there. I like him.
He's always had this ability, but it's never been unlocked, and they haven't really tried.
No, not until last week.
And then last week it was like out of necessity. They had to do it, and he really proved that he can do it. And I hope that they get him involved. And, that opens up that whole offense for everybody. It'll be a lot more fun, and CJ can come back to his greatness.
I could see him being one of those guys like Jamison Williams, who occasionally has some ridiculous game and everybody then starts him. And then you realize, nope, it's 1-2 games a season.
Mm-hmm. You gotta
so, but if you can catch him that game, that's lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
I've got two sleepers on tight ends. Cole Kmet versus Green Bay. Just because I think they're going to be like, check it, like you said, like you're like one guy and either throw it away or check it down. Well, that means either Swift or Kmet, and I think Kmet might see an uptick. And the guy I really strangely like is Hooper.
That's so funny. I can't believe you got that. That's what I have.
Yeah,
as a flyer. Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper
Hunter
versus
Henry's
the Rams.
Banged up.
Yeah, Hunter Henry's banged up. And Hooper last week soaked up those targets when Hunter went out, and I like him to do it again.
I have the exact same thing. Well, that just guarantees that he's also, I'm going to have, maybe I'll do like a tight end and flex and do like Dawson Knox and Austin Hooper, and then just load it up with, Amon-Ra and Pickens and all
the name brand guys. Yeah.
All the big guys.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's pretty great. And then, of course, do you have any flyers? I got a couple flyers on defense.
Go for it.
They're flyers, okay? But, let's maybe take a flyer on the Titans versus Minnesota. They didn't look so great last week, Minnesota.
I'll give you that. Give you that. They looked very beatable last week in a match they should have looked like superstars in.
Correct. So, maybe it's true. Maybe he's full Darnold. He's gone full Darnold. And you never go full Darnold.
You never go full Darnold.
Never go full Darnold.
Never
going to win. You'll never win. You'll never win. You go full Darnold. And then here's another crazy one. I mean, this one really is. It's a true flyer. I don't even know why I'm saying it, to be honest. But something in my brain said, Vegas. Take a flyer on Vegas defense, which is really bad. But take a flyer on that defense versus Miami, because I still don't know if Tua seems a little confused. He's holding the ball too long, and they do still have Max Crosby, so maybe.
All right.
And it's a flyer. It's a flyer.
It's a flyer, boy. That is a flyer.
True flyer.
I don't know.
Make some people some money.
Let's do it. I only have one lock this week.
Okay. What you got?
And it breaks my heart, but
Houston
-7 versus the Cowboys. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it'll be like similar to the Philly game, if not worse. I feel pretty bad, but Houston beating up the Cowboys.
Well, boy, that hurts.
Yeah, but that's the lock. That's why I Lou. If my team ain't going to win, maybe I can.
My lock is Green Bay -5 over Chicago.
Okay. All right. That's a good one.
I'm saying that. Now, remember last week, my lock was Buffalo -3.5. And they won 30-20. And my other lock was the Vikings -4 over the Jags. They managed to eke that out 12-7. And so both of our both locks came true. Right now, I only put it down there if I truly, truly believe it. I'm saying let's go Green Bay -5 over Chicago.
I took that Minnesota -4, and I was like, and then they almost kicked that field goal that would have ruined it. And I was like, oh my God, they held on to it. They held on to a 5-point fucking advantage. I can't believe it. Oh my God. And that went right into my win pile.
Yeah, baby. How about some dice rolls?
Let's roll them dice now.
Okay. Let's
roll them dice.
Let's roll them bones.
I like Broncos -2.5 versus Atlanta.
Nice.
I see them winning by a field goal. I think that's, if you can get them at 2.5, I would take it.
Ooh, I think I might put a little something on that.
Yeah, I like it. I think they win by a field goal. I think it's a 3 or if not a little bit more. So, but I like that's one. My second one is Chargers -1 versus the Bengals. As you know, I consider an upset for the Chargers to win this game, and I do think they win this game. So I like them -1 versus the Bengals.
So here we differ. My roll the dice is take the 1.5 and take Cincinnati.
Okay.
Because you know what? It might just be they lose by 1 again, Cincinnati. So I'll take the 1.5 and Cincinnati because they have a way of doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a flyer, but we both got this in the flyer category, and then
dice roll for sure.
Really hurts to say this one. Let's take a flyer on the Jets -4 over Indy.
Ooh.
It's a flyer. Ooh. I mean, I might put it in a parlay.
Dice roll.
Yeah,
that's a dice roll, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're coming up snake eyes on that one. I don't like it. Now, for me, my final dice roll is Seattle +7 at San Francisco. I just think it might. 7's a lot. 7's a lot for a team with the weapons that Seattle has. Is DK coming back? He is, right?
Yeah.
So with DK back, and they still have 2 very good running backs.
Correct.
Their defense is, and San Francisco,
and they're both healthy too. Yeah.
Yeah, and San Francisco's been a little wonky. I mean, even McCaffrey wasn't 100% McCaffrey, which we knew, but they certainly tried to use him like he was 100% McCaffrey, which I thought was very dumb.
I agree.
Letting him get hit that much week 1 after I thought was dumb, and I expect him to be dumb again. I like picking up Jordan Mason. I very much feel he will be in use down the stretch.
Did not touch the ball.
Right. He will. Don't worry. It's coming.
It's going to be Isaac Guerrero. But anyway,
no, it won't.
We'll see. I have one other dice roll, and that's let's roll the dice and take the Bills -2. We believe that Kansas City is going to lose. I think they'll lose by at least a field goal. So let's go. Let's roll the dice. Put our money where our mouth is, and let's roll the dice and take the Bills.
Not a chance.
I'm doing it. I'm going to roll the dice.
I'm not going anywhere near that one.
Let's roll the dice.
Not a chance.
This is the week.
That is all you. But yeah, this is the week. But I don't know. I'm not versus the spread. I'm not touching it.
-2.
Not touching it.
Fine. Take the money line. Would you roll the dice on the money line? Whatever that is.
Yes, if it's the Bill, I would roll the dice on the. If you're gonna roll the dice, roll the dice on Bill's money line. That's where the money's gonna be.
I think you could do both, but we'll see. That's it. That's all I got, my friend.
That's all I got.
We got a good game tonight.
Boy, we got a great game tonight, and then I got to bounce over to the Improv to do an incredible show with legends like David Spade and Jeff Garland, and so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh my God, really? That's awesome! Yeah. I wish I could go to that.
Yeah. It's going to be a heck of a show tonight. So. A lot of Trevor Wallace is on the show. For those of you who know him, the big social media guy. So I mean, it's going to be fun. So it's like great game. Have a great show. Have a great night.
This is my life,
baby.
When is your special? When is your special again?
We're shooting it on November 30th in Dallas, Texas, in Addison, Texas, which is in Dallas, at the Water Tower Theater. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. You can also go to my social media. You'll find the link there. On Instagram at Greg Romero Wilson, on TikTok at Greg Romero Wilson. It's all in links. And so thank you for reminding me to bring that up, Scott. I appreciate it.
I cannot wait.
You will be there. Oh, and I tell you what, man, I wish I'm gonna send you the banger that Rob Lindo.
No, don't.
No, or Rob Heskin.
I was texting with him and he was like, dude, I got this amazing music that it's going to be for Greg's show. And I said, I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it in the theater with everybody else. Dude. I don't want to get. I was like yelling and crying.
Yeah. And it's
the best music he's made.
Dude, it is the most impactful thing. It moves you. It hits you.
I can't wait. Don't send it to me. I don't.
Okay. I can't wait.
Rob did send me the music for the fantasy football podcast.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Do you remember that?
No.
He did one for you for Harsh Reality.
I gotta go back and look at that.
I'll send it to you. It's actually pretty funny. There's one line here where he goes, "What you know about concussion protocol? What you know about domestic violence? What you know?" And it was like, it's really pretty. It's pretty funny.
Well, wait till you hear the theme song. It's gonna
blow
your mind. I believe my comedy special might be the first comedy special to spawn 3 hit singles. So,
well, bro, have a killer show tonight with Spade and Garland and Wallace and those guys.
Yeah.
Dude, I know you're gonna freaking kill it. Are you doing the thing, the big thing, like what you're doing for your special?
Some of it. I'll do pieces, parts. We'll see. Yeah.
God. Well, I hope you record that. So I want to see that show. That sounds awesome. I want to.
Oh no, they don't allow that. So there will be no recording. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everyone's gotten very private about it. The big clubs the store, the Improv, the Laugh Factory. They've gotten very much clamped down on who can video and who can't.
Well, go out there and fucking kill it like you always do. I'm so happy for you, man. This is awesome.
Thank you, brother. I can't wait, man. This is going to be amazing. I hope people watching the show can join us. All right, that's it. Week 11.
Good luck. Happy trading.
Fantasy football.
Harsh reality.